Okay, looks like this is on. So just chill first. And I'm going to post the link up for everybody.
The one day.
What'd you say?
The one day it works.
I know. Well, chill. Like, I haven't posted it to anybody yet.
Yeah.
So I'm putting it up now. It's okay. It only took me 3 months to figure it out.
You did good, honey.
Okay. So if you want to start going through, if you want to start going through your little spiel.
Okay. Right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I might we got your shot.
Okay. Okay. All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Mobility Flow Live for this Wednesday afternoon. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. So we're going to talk about the structure of today's class. This is probably one of my favorite topics is lower back. I've struggled with lower back pain for a really long time, and it wasn't until I found out how to move and what movements actually help that I started to get some relief. So today's class, I titled this class "Building Lower Back Durability," and the reason why I titled it that is, especially nowadays when we think about lower back, you know, it's a vulnerable spot on the body where a lot of people do experience sometimes acute pain, which can be situational, and some people experience a lot of chronic lower back pain for whatever reason, whether they have a diagnosis or not. Pain can show up there, and sometimes the pain is a little bit on a deeper level than just a physical level. Sometimes it actually has a lot to do with the state that our nervous system is in, as well as, you know, stress or some type of tightness in the hip joints. So when I think about the lower back, I think about building a resilient, strong, capable lower back that isn't so vulnerable and is depicted as being vulnerable, especially in the medical community. So today's class, we're going to be focusing on movements that will help to free up some tension in the low back. Sometimes a lot of us get a feeling where we feel like we're stuck or we're kind of like jammed up through that low back, through the hips. We're going to do some movements to relieve that stuck feeling, but then also some movements to build the muscularity of the deep spinal muscles, as well as the abdominal and hip muscles. And I don't want you to think about the abdominals and the hips as two separate muscle groups. They're actually combined into one. So we're going to build what I call the cylinder of the spine, the muscularity that wraps all around, which is important for keeping the low back healthy. And I think, do you think I'm good to go? Yeah. Okay, so without further ado, I think we're going to get going. So all you're going to need for this practice is 2 blocks. And we are going to start with a breathing exercise that I love, which is really helpful for relieving compression in the low back, especially the very low portion of the low back. Some of you will know it as the sacrum, deep down in there. This is also a helpful breathing exercise to strengthen the muscles of the pelvic floor, which I'm not going to get into the pelvic floor, but these muscles are really important that we want to keep them healthy so that we can keep the pelvis moving. So you're going to need 1 block for this. And all you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and lie on the block. So I'm going to take the block vertically to my body, and I'm going to go ahead and place it on the lowest part of my abdomen. So I'm going to go ahead and just lie on down onto that block. So the block is sort of going right up to about the crease of my hip. Okay. Now, if some of you have had any recent abdominal surgery, or there's anything going on the inside of your abdomen, you can definitely skip this part, or you can lie straight on your belly and breathe, or you can just come to a seated position and just follow us with the breath. That's fine. So the way that I like to bring my hands, I like to bring them together, and I like to put my elbows maybe just a little bit further forward of my shoulders. Now, it's not going to be extremely comfortable to start, and that's kind of the point. Okay? So I want you to feel like your belly muscles are kind of wrapping around that block. And you'll notice as we do this breathing exercise, you'll notice that your abdomen becomes less rigid and actually gets a little bit more relaxed. Okay? So let's do one together really slowly to practice. And then we're just going to kind of rep it out from there. So what you're going to do with your inhale is you're going to fill your belly up with what me and my husband call a pregnant belly, where you want to create this really full abdomen. And as you create that full abdomen, what's going to happen is your bum is going to tuck a little bit underneath you. Okay. Then we want to exhale really slowly through the mouth. And as you can see, my lower back arch got a little bit bigger. So I'm taking that pelvis in two different directions, relieving that stuck feeling. Okay. So the first one, I want you to inhale through your nose, and I want you to push your belly out as much as you can until your abdomen gets really rigid and full. So inhale. Okay, you're going to hold that for maybe like a count. Shoulder blades fill up, abdomen feels like it's very rigid and hard. And then as you exhale through your mouth, then you'll start to feel like, oh, my abdomen's getting a little bit softer, and I feel like my belly is just wrapping around the block. Okay, so we're going to do a few of these. Don't worry if you get off my count. Do them in your own time. We're going to go for about 5 of these breaths. So whenever you're ready, we're going to inhale, fill up. Hold there for a count. Exhale through the mouth. I want you to hear your breath. I want it to be audible, and I want you to let that exhale completely go. Again, inhale. Hold for a count. Exhale. Yeah, exhale should be long. Inhale. Hold for a count. Exhale. Good. 2 more like that. Inhale, fill up. Exhale. Very good. 1 more. I can already feel my low back settling a little bit more. 1 more. Inhale. Exhale. Good. All right. Go ahead and gently push yourself up off that block. Now, again, it wasn't meant to be extremely comfortable on the belly, so don't worry if it felt a little bit pressurized. That's kind of the point. All right, now I'd like you to come onto your forearms. So I'm going to come onto my forearms. I'm going to create maybe that same position. I'm going to bring my palms together, and then my shoulders over my elbows, and my knees directly underneath my hips. Okay, toes can be curled or uncurled, doesn't really matter. All right, so I'm going to take the pelvis, and I'm going to move it forward and backwards. So when I move the pelvis forward, that's that lower back junction. What's going to happen is that my low back is going to arch, and my bum is going to tilt up to the ceiling. Okay. Then I'm going to tilt this pelvis backwards, which means that I'm going to scoop the butt underneath me until my low back is kind of rounded. So we're going to go back and forth like this. Now, we don't want the other spine to participate. And what I mean by that is we're not arching through the rest of the spine. Okay? We just want that low junction to move. So we're freeing up some space in that low back, relieving that stuck feeling. So neck remains long, try not to let your head move. So when you're ready, we're going to go forward with that forward tilt. Low back arches. Go as far as you can without creating a feeling of compression or pain. Then I'm going to go ahead and scoop my butt underneath me. And for some of you, this might feel pretty good, especially if you are really arched in your low back. And then I want you guys, just in your own time, go forward and backwards. And then once you kind of get the hang of it, I want you to see if you can synchronize the movement with your breath. So I want you to inhale through the nose as you arch. Exhale through the nose as you tuck under. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Great. Beautiful. Okay. So now we're going to take this movement that we did with that low junction, and we're going to add in the rest of the spine. So we're going to do this on hands and knees. So you're going to go ahead and prop up into that hands and knees position. So again, you want to remember elbows and shoulders kind of working together. Hands, I want to turn them out just a little bit. So I want to go ahead and come up into that hands and knees position. So we're going to take cat-cow, which I'm sure a lot of you know, but we're going to do it a little bit differently. We're going to do it in segments. This is called the segmental cat-cow. I like toes uncurled for this. I find that I get a little bit more mobility in my spine, but you guys are going to go ahead and decide what feels best for you. So with my hands turned out and my inner biceps turning forward, I want to keep my upper back nice and full. So I want to push the shoulder blades to the ceiling and keep the neck nice and long. Now we did this already. You're going to start with that low junction. So I'm going to go ahead and tip my pelvis forward until my low back arches. Okay. Now I want to take the front of my rib cage and drop it down. Now my mid back arches. Now I want to arch my upper back by pulling my chest forward and up as my shoulder blades drag down my back. Then I want my head to go. Now I want to reverse in this order. I want to bring the chin to my chest. I want to push the shoulder blades to the ceiling so my upper back rounds. I want to lift the front of my rib cage, and then I want to scoop the butt underneath me so I have this full entire round through that sanctity of the entire spine. And then I want to go ahead and come back to neutral. Okay, so we're going to repeat this. So I want to think low junction arch, mid junction drop, upper junction arch, head lifts, chin to chest, push the shoulder blades to the ceiling, lift the front rib cage, tuck the butt underneath you. Good. Come back to neutral. Let's try two more like that. Low junction arch, mid junction drop, upper junction arch, head up, chin to chest, push the shoulder blades to the sky, lift that front rib cage and scoop the butt underneath you so you have a full rounded spine from the back of the neck all the way to the tailbone. Come back to neutral. Very good. This feels really good. One more here. Tip forward, rib cage, upper back, head. Good. Chin to chest, shoulder blades rounded, rib cage lift, butt scoops underneath. Come back to neutral. Great job. All right, now you're going to go ahead and grab both of your props, both of your blocks, and you're going to go ahead and come down onto your backs. I lied to you. You only need one block. So go ahead and come onto your back. All right. So once I'm on my back, I'm going to use this one block to go behind my head. All right. Okay. So we're going to work now with some isolated movements of that low back spine and those deep, deep abdominal muscles. So how I'd like you to start is I'd like you to bring your legs up to 90 degrees. Now, 90 degrees is not here with your knees coming forward of your hips. 90 degrees is with your knees right over your hip creases. You'll notice when you pull your knees in, your low back flattens. When your knees come here, you feel a little bit of an arch. We want that, okay? It's important that these legs stay 90 degrees. Now, what we're going to do with the arms is we're going to make like kind of like muscle man arms or like reverse kind of robot arms where I'm bending the arms at 90 degrees. So my elbows are over the backs of my armpits and I've got fists. Okay, so we're going to take a variation here of dead bug. Okay, this is a really, really important exercise to build not just the abdominal muscles, but the deep spinal muscles that protect that low back spine. So first thing I want to think about doing is I want to try to push my low back in towards the floor. Now, I don't want you to think of the word flatten. It's not what we're going for. I want to think about pushing that low back into the ground until I actually start to feel some action in my abdominals. And everybody's going to be different. For me, I got to push that low back into the floor more just because I've got a really lower back. I've got a big lower back arch. But for you, you might only have to do it a smidge. Okay. So just until you start to feel your abdominals work. Now, keeping that right leg at 90 degrees and the left arm where it is, all I want to do is very slowly start to proceed to take that left leg and that right fist back behind me until they come to the floor. Now, if they come to the floor and your low back is popped off the ground, you've gone too far. And here my abdominals are shaking because I'm working really hard to push that low back in towards the floor. Then using the front of my abdominals, I want to slowly pull that right back up. That I'm going to switch. So right leg, left arm. Now notice how I'm not moving that left leg. Okay, good. Use the abdominals to come up. Good. Now keep going, alternating. So right arm, left leg. Now I don't want to pull the right leg in when I do this. You're not going to get as much from the abdominals. I want to keep that leg at 90 degrees. And then I want to slowly pull it up. See how slow we're going? I'm kind of like wanting to stop because this is super hard. So right leg, left arm. Slowly come on up. Use the front of your abdominals. Right arm, left leg. Your thighs might be getting a little tired, especially your hip creases. That's normal. Those are your hip muscles working. They're contracting. Good. Keep going. Right leg, left arm. Good thing I know my rights and lefts today. Some days I don't. Really work to push that low back into the floor and come on up. Let's do 2 more each side. So I'm going to go right arm, left leg. But again, I'm not changing my right leg. I'm keeping it at 90 degrees. Use those low abdominals to come on up. Right leg, left arm. Very slow. And if you're doing it slow, you might feel a lot in your thighs. Good. Slowly. You're using your low abdominals to pull the arm and the leg up, not that low back. Let's switch here. Good. And pull that back up. Good. One more here. Right leg, left arm. Very, very slow. And then think about using that whole entire front abdomen to pull everything back up. Beautiful. Great. Hard work. Now, if you were teetering side to side, or you were moving your legs, or your low back was popping off, you lost that tension. So this is something you definitely want to practice. All right, let's try one more set of that. But this time I want you to really pay attention to keeping everything through the torso nice and stiff. Low back does not change. Legs stay at 90 degrees. We're using those low abdominals to pull everything back up. So let's try it again. So arms back up, legs 90 degrees. I know the arms look a little funny. Don't worry if they change. I care more about your legs not changing. Push that low back in towards the floor. Get the tension. So let's go ahead and start with right arm, left leg. Good. Low abdominals coming up again. Don't worry if your arm and your heel don't touch the floor. Go as far as you can. Right leg, left arm. I care more about you feeling it and not letting your low back pop off than being concerned about the heel and the hand touching the floor. Left leg, right arm. Now think of the abdominals pulling that back up, but low back does not change. Right leg, left arm. Low abdominals, pull that in slowly. Left leg, right arm. Good. Abdominals, crunching, pulling it in. Good. Right leg, left arm. Ay, 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 ay. Good. Abdominals, pull it back in. Left leg, right arm. Scrunch and pull it. Abdominals, hopefully they're burning. Right leg, left arm. Good. Abdominal scrunch. Pull it in. Let's do one more each side, everybody. Left leg, right arm. Don't speed it up just because you're tired. Keep every rep the same. Scrunch as you pull it. Last one. Right leg, left arm. Oh boy. And scrunch and pull it. I've never felt my abdominals so much. Phew. Beautiful. All right, go ahead and relax that. Nice work, everybody. Okay, so we're going to do these things called glute walkouts. They're a little weird to get used to, but once you get them, they're super effective. So I'm just going to tuck the back of my shirt in here just so you guys can see what my low back is actually doing. So let's get rid of the block. Let's get rid of the block. Okay. Head on the floor. Now, when you put your head on the floor, you're like, ooh, no, that feels really funny. Put the block back, okay? Now, first we're going to take a glute bridge. So I'm going to keep my feet flat on the floor, parallel to one another, really grabbing the floor with my big toes. Super, super important. I don't want my knees to spray out. I want to feel like I'm using those inner thighs to keep my legs parallel, almost as if I'm squeezing a block. Now, I'm going to take that butt and scoop it a little bit underneath me. Again, for me, I got to do it more. Okay, we don't want that low back to arch. I want to scoop a little bit underneath me, and then I want to start to lift my outer hips up as high as I can without letting my low back arch. And I really don't want you to be up here. That's not what we're going for. I want to keep that rib cage dropping and the butt scooping underneath me. Now, what I want you to actually do is hold the sides of your waist. This is going to keep you really understanding how to keep the hips nice and stable and steady. Now, as you scoop the butt underneath you more, you might not be able to lift as high, and that's fine. Now, as I press down through the feet, for me, I'm feeling a lot of hamstring, a lot of low bum. You might be feeling it somewhere else. That's okay. Now, keeping my left foot where it is, all I'm going to do is take my right foot and walk it a step forward. But I'm keeping my hands here to prevent my hips from moving with me. Now, as I press into the right foot, I'm going to step that left foot forward so it's in line with the right. This is not easy. Okay, now I'm going to do that one more time. Keeping my hips where they are, I'm going to press into the left foot, step the right foot forward, keep scooping the butt underneath me. Now, as I push into the right foot, I'm going to step the left foot forward so it's level. Okay, now you can imagine, now I want to reverse this. So I'm going to press into the right foot, step the left foot forward, press into the left foot, step the right foot forward, press into the right foot, step the left foot forward, and press into the left foot, step the right foot forward. And really scoop that butt underneath you so you're back in that top position. And then carefully lower your outer hips down. So as you can see, we took our glute bridge and we just walked it out 2 steps. And walked it back in 2 steps to return to the starting position. Now, when you walk your feet out, we don't want the hips to go everywhere because you're going to lose that tension. Okay, so we want to keep those hips nice and steady by keeping our hands there. So let's try this again. So I'm going to scoop the butt underneath me. I'm going to press through the feet and lift. If you're feeling this in your low back, you're probably lifting too high, to be honest. How high you lift honestly does not matter. This is not very high for me, but I'm feeling a lot in my hamstrings and my bum. So keeping my hips steady and honest, rib cage dropping. Let's press into the left foot and step the right foot forward. Just tiny, okay? Because remember, you're doing 2 steps. Press into the right foot, left foot forward. Now they're level. Good. Press into the left foot, right foot forward. Press into the right foot, left foot forward. Scoop the butt underneath you. Now let's reverse the direction. Press into the right, left forward. Press into the left, right forward. Scoop the butt underneath you. Press into the right, left forward. Press into the left, right forward. Now let's try to keep going without dropping our bum. If you need a break, drop your bum. Okay? Otherwise, we're going to keep going. Press into the left, right forward. Press into the right, left forward. Good. Press into the left, right forward. Press into the right, left forward. Oh boy, regretting this. Press into the right, left forward towards the body. Press into the left, bring the right in. Press into the right, bring the left in. Press into the left, bring the right in. So we're returning to that top position. Again, your steps are really small. Let's try to do one more without stopping. Press into the right, left, away. Press into the left, right. Press into the right, left. Press into the left, right. Good. Now let's reverse this. Press into the right, left. Press into the left, right. Press into the right, left. Press into the left, right. We handle one more. I don't know, because I can't tell. You can't answer me. We're going to do one more. Scoop them underneath you. Oh, boy. This is crazy hard. Press into the right, left forward. Press into the left, right forward. Remember, step small. Press into the right, left forward. Press into the left, right forward. Scoop that butt underneath you guys. Keep yourself really stable and steady. Let's reverse this. Woo! Press into the right, left forward. Press into the left, right forward. Press into the right, left forward. Press into the left, right forward. Scoop underneath you, hold, and then lower that straight down to the floor. Whew. Give your legs a little shake. Everybody probably felt that in different places. For me, it was all hamstring, a little bit in the low bum. Might have been different for all of you. Whew. All right, go ahead and prop yourself up. Okay, so we're going to come back to that hands and knees position. Okay, so we're going to add in some spinal mobility here, but also some really, really strong tension-based abdominal work. So I'm going to come back hands and knees, but I'm just going to put my left hand on the ground. Okay, so just my left hand there. Okay, so left hand where it was. I'm going to keep my toes curled under actually for support. It's a little bit better. Now with my left hand where it is, I want to really push that shoulder blade to the ceiling, so I'm not dumping my weight in my wrist. And I'm going to go ahead and put the right hand behind my head. Now all I'm going to do is just 5 rotations here. So I'm going to take that right elbow down towards the left elbow, and I'm going to look past the arm. Then for my upper back, I'm going to go ahead and turn open and look under the armpit. Now, what I don't want to happen is your right hip to go. Okay, we're not involving that pelvis. We're only involving the upper back. So let's try this again. Elbow to elbow, upper back turn open, elbow to elbow, upper back turn open. Now let's do 2 more with the breathing. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Okay, now bring your chest parallel to the floor, and I want you to take your right hand and just hover it off the ground. I want you to lift the front of the abdominals, and I want you to hover your left knee. Now, all I want you to think about doing is that you're tracing the floor with your arm and your leg. So I'm going to slowly slide my hand forward and take my leg back behind me just before the joints start to straighten out. And I'm kind of tracing the floor. Then I'm going to slowly pull that back in, really slowly using the abdominal muscles. We're going to do 5 of these. Slowly go, trace the floor. Trace the floor as you come back in. And think about keeping tension in the abdominals. Again, slide, trace the floor. No arching through the low back. Slide, pull it in. 2 more there. Trace the floor. Awesome. Pull it on back. 1 more here. Slide, trace the floor, and then pull it back in and relax. Okay, now notice how my spine did not change. I did not arch that back. I did not teeter my hips. I kept everything stable through the abdominals and just let my arm and leg extend. So let's try the other side. So I'm going to start with those rotations. So I'm going to put the right hand on the ground now. Okay, knees under hips, left hand behind the head. Push that right shoulder blade to the ceiling. Take the elbow to the elbow. From the upper back, turn open. Elbow to the elbow. Turn open. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Now I'm going to go ahead and hover the hand, hover the right knee, push that right shoulder blade to the ceiling. 5 traces. Slowly. Pull it in. Where am I pulling it in from? The front of the abdominals. Again, trace. Good. Pull it in. Elbow and knee don't have to straighten. Again, slide, trace, hips stay steady. Good. Pull it back in. Feel those abdominals work, everybody. 2 more here. Trace the floor. Pull it back. 1 more. Trace the floor. And pull it back. Okay, drop that down. We're going to do 1 more side each side. So we're just going to switch. Okay, so I'm going to put that right hand back on the floor. I'm going to go back to my rotations. Hands behind the head. Inhale, elbow to elbow. Out breath. Rotation. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Everything parallel to the floor. Hand, left knee hover. Push the left shoulder blade to the ceiling. Trace. Neck stays long. Good. Use the front of the belly. Pull it back in. Good. Trace the floor. Good. Pull it back in. Good. Just kind of miming the floor almost. Good. Back in. 2 more. It almost looks like you're kind of like a statue through your torso. Nothing is changing. 1 more. Trace that floor. Pull it back in. Drop all that down. Let's switch. Now the right hand's going to be on the floor. Okay. Left hand behind the head. Here I go. Elbow to elbow. Rotation. Elbow. Rotation. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more. Inhale. Exhale. Hand. Right knee. Hover. Push the right shoulder blade to the ceiling. 5 of these. Trace the floor. Good. 1. Slide. 2. Being mindful of every movement. 3. Good. 4. Good. 1 more. And 5. And pull it in. Awesome, everybody. All right, go ahead and come to sit with your legs outstretched in front of you. All right, so legs outstretched in front of me. All right, so for a lot of us, doing abdominal work, especially in a very hollow position, can sometimes make that low back flare up. Really, really normal. So we're going to do this little exercise here to build some deep, deep strength in the abdominals, hips, thighs, deep, deep spinal muscles. So what you're going to do is you're going to start, and I'm not going to use the word neutral spine, but we want to try to be tall. Your spine is never straight, so don't think about being straight. Just think about trying to be tall. And for a lot of you, sitting in this position is actually already a little tough. So if you need to put a little bend in your knees to allow you to sit up taller, I want you to go ahead and do that. If the legs outstretched is making you slouch, you got to put a little bend in the knees to allow you to lift up. Okay? So whether you're here or here, doesn't matter. Arms are going to go out in front of you. So see, I'm really tall, and I'm trying to think that my head, my shoulders, my rib cage, and my hips are working together. Okay? Now, all I want to do is reverse this direction of my spine and create a hollow position. So what I'm going to do is move the shoulder blades away from the spine and hollow through my rib cage. Okay? Now from the creases of my hips, I'm going to pull my legs in as close to the body as I can. And I'm going to flex my feet. Now I'm going to lean back a little bit on my tailbone, keeping that hollow position until I can use my low abdominals and lift my heels up. Shoulder blades still move away from the spine. Now gluing my legs together, I'm going to bring my shin bones parallel to the ceiling. And I want to really think about using my low abdominals. Then I want to bring the heels back towards my bum, put the heels back on the floor, and as I slide my legs out straight, I come back to neutral spine. Okay, we're going to repeat this a few times, so don't worry if that did not make any sense at all. Okay, so we're going to do this again. So I'm going to start with my feet flexed. It's just a little bit better. So if your knees are bent, start with them flexed. So I'm going to be a nice, tall, neutral spine. I know I shouldn't say that word, but tall spine. Now I'm going to hollow. Hollow. Now I'm going to slide. Lean back just a little bit so I can lift my heels. Pull my thighs and my chest together as I bring the shin bones parallel to the ceiling. Bring the heels back to the bum. Pull the thighs into the chest, set the heels down. Slide out straight, back tall. Again, hollow. Pull in, really hollow. Lean back, lift. Now pull the thighs and the chest together, shin bones parallel to the ceiling. Good. Heels to bum, pull it in. Heels to floor, slide out neutral spine. 2 more like that. Hollow. Drag it in. Lean back, lift. Thighs and chest together, shin bones parallel to the sky. Heels to bum, heels to floor, slide out tall. 1 more. Hollow. Pull it in. Lean back, lift heels, chest to thighs. Shin bones parallel to the sky, chest to thighs. Heels to bum, chest to thighs, heels on the floor. Slide it out. Nice and tall. Good. And relax. All right. Come forward to a lunge. So we're going to do kind of like a little, I'm going to face this way. We're going to come with like a little hip flexor and hamstring release here, which both of these can contribute to a lower back feeling stuck. So I'm going to step my right foot forward into a lunge. Okay, I'm just going to face this way. So it's just easier for you guys. So lunge, right foot forward, knee roughly on top of ankle, knee roughly under hip, back toes curled under. So in order to get the hip flexors in the front on the left leg, I have to scoop the butt underneath me. Okay, so here, now they're just kind of like junky. Here, they're actually stretching. Okay, so what I want to try to do is I want to take an inhale and I want to reach my arms up alongside my ears. So you guys can just kind of vision that. Inhale, arms alongside the ears. Exhale, scoop that left butt cheek underneath me until I feel a release in the front. Now I'm going to drop my hands to the floor on either side of that right foot. And I'm going to lift my back knee and shift my hips back, keeping my right big toe on the floor to feel a little stretch in that right hamstring. And then I'm going to drop my back knee down and come right back up. Don't worry, we're going to repeat this, okay? So I'm going to take let's do the first one here without the breath. So arms alongside the ears. Left butt cheek scoops underneath you. Hands to the floor. Pick the back leg up, shift the hips back just enough until the right big toe starts to lift. Drop the back knee down, come back up. Okay, let's try it with the breath. Inhale, arms alongside the ears. Exhale, scoop the butt underneath you. Inhale, hands to floor. Exhale, shift back, hamstring stretch. Drop the back knee, come on up. Again, inhale, arms alongside the ears. Exhale, butt scoops underneath you. Hands to floor, inhale. Exhale, shift back. Drop on down, come right back up. Let's do 1 more here. Inhale, arms alongside the ears. Exhale, scoop the butt underneath you. Inhale, hands to floor. Exhale, shift back. Good, and then go ahead and drop that knee down. Awesome, let's go ahead and come to the other side. Left foot into the lunge. Right knee under hip, back toes curled under. Now that you know what we're doing, let's just do 5 here with the breath. Inhale, arms alongside ears. Exhale, right butt cheek scoops underneath. Inhale, hands to floor. Exhale, shift back, hamstring stretch. Drop the knee, come on up. Inhale, lift. Exhale, scoop. Inhale, hands to floor. Exhale, shift back. Good. Drop the knee. 3 more. Come on up. Inhale, arms alongside ears. Exhale, scoop. Inhale, hands to floor. Exhale, shift back. 2 more. Drop. Come on up. Inhale, arms alongside ears. Exhale, scoop. Inhale, drop. Exhale, shift back. Drop. 1 more here. On up. Inhale. Exhale, scoop. Inhale, hands. Exhale, shift back. Drop that knee. Beautiful. All right. Let's proceed to go on to our bellies. Okay. All right. So we're going to work with probably what you might know them as Supermans. Okay. But we're going to work opposition first. So the upper back muscles and the glutes, they kind of work together, which sounds kind of funny. So we're going to do this movement here to allow them to be nice and strong. So I'm going to lie on my belly. I'm going to decide where my legs like to go. Mine naturally go wide. Okay, you guys are going to decide where your legs want to go. But really important, I don't want to be able to slide my hand underneath my hip crease. If I am, my low back is in a vulnerable position. I want to push my hip bones down into the floor with force. Okay, I know that doesn't sound good, but I want you to really push those hip bones into the floor, and I shouldn't be able to slide my hand underneath. Now my glutes are active. I'm going to take my left arm overhead, okay, overhead with kind of like the tip of my pinky finger on the floor, okay? All right, so the tip of the pinky finger on the floor. My right arm is going to be alongside the body. Now, forehead is going to be on the ground. All I want to do is I want to lift my left arm and my right leg together up off the floor. So all I'm going to do is lift. Okay, so my left arm is up alongside my ear. My right leg is up, and my chest is a little bit lifted off the ground. And then I'm going to lower that down. Now, key points of focus here is we really want to feel the muscles on the upper back of the left side. And we really want to feel the bum and the hamstring on the leg on the left side. Now, you're not lifting your leg so high that you're bending your knee. Your leg is straight, but you're also not using momentum from the low back to lift. You're trying to use the muscles of your bum and your hamstring to lift. Really important. Okay, so let's try 10 of these, and then we're going to switch sides. So left arm overhead, right arm smacking the pavement, toes on the floor, head on the ground. So here I go. I'm going to lift, left leg, or excuse me, right leg, left arm, hold. Come on down for 1. Lift, lower. Lift, lower. If you're feeling your low back, don't lift as high. Lift, lower. For 5. Good. Lift for 6. Good. Lift for 7. Good. Lift for 8. Good. Lift for 9. Good. Lift for 10. And good. Now notice how when I was doing this, I wasn't throwing my head forward. I was remaining looking at the ground so that my neck and my upper back spine are working together, okay? I can't lift very high. I feel my low back too much if I do that, okay? I want to focus more on my glute and my upper back. So I'm going to switch sides. So right arm, left arm smacking the pavement. So now I'm going to be lifting left leg, right arm. So I'm going to drop the forehead down. Here I go. I'm going to lift for 1. Down. For 2. Down. For 3. Down. For 4. Down. For 5. Down. For 6. Down. For 7. Down. For 8. Down. For 9. Good. And 10. Beautiful. Okay. So now we're going to come to a full Superman where we're going to be lifting both arms and both legs together. Now, ideally, I want you to have your arms overhead and lifting the arms and the legs together. If the overhead position is bothering you, You can have your arms alongside the body with your thumbs touching the floor. But if you do this, I want you to make sure that you're lifting your shoulders and your arms up and really squeezing the shoulder blades together if you're doing that variation. Now, what I noticed that a lot of people do with these sort of prone belly movements is they swing because they think that the higher they lift, the better. Not always, okay? We want to keep those hip bones on the floor. We don't want to feel the low back lift. We want to feel the muscles of the lower body and the muscles of the upper back. Okay, let's try 10 of these. So I'm going to do arms overhead, but you guys feel free to try a different variation. Okay, my arms are going to be wide, almost like a letter V. Thumbs are facing the ceiling like hitchhiker thumbs. I'm going to drop my forehead. Now here I go. I'm going to lift for 1. Lower. For 2, think that you're getting longer with your spine and lower. For 3, lower from the glutes. 4, lower. For 5, lower, really squeeze the bum. For 6, lower. For 7, lower. For 8, lower. For 9, lower. And 10, and lower. Great job. All right, let's get you off of your bellies. Now, again, if when you did that, you felt a lot of compression in the low back, super normal. Don't you think that you're doing anything wrong? It just means that you might have been lifting from the wrong place, which is really normal, especially if you tend to have a really big lower back arch. With practice and with time, you'll learn how to lift directly from the glutes and from the upper back. So don't worry if you had a little bit of an issue with that one. All right, last little kind of difficult strength piece here, and then we're going to move on into kind of like a mobility cool down. So kind of similar play on what we did earlier. So we just got strong in that arch position. Now we're going to try to get strong in that hollow position. So you're going to need a block for this. Okay, so before we did the shin bones parallel to the ceiling and hugged in, that's the position that we're going to work with today. But I'm going to go ahead and take the block. I'm going to squeeze it in between my inner thighs. So I'm going to take it horizontal. I'm going to put it in between my inner thighs, and I'm going to walk my heels into the body, and this is going to kind of be my starting position. Now, I want to really emphasize a squeeze on the block. I cannot stress that enough. The inner thighs and the abdominals, they are kind of married. They work together, okay? So we want to keep them working together. So I'm going to squeeze the block. I'm going to lean back. Now, I want to create that same hollow position that I had earlier, where my shoulder blades are moving away from my spine, and my low abdominals are hollow. Now, I'm going to pull my heels into the body, lift them, and then try to bring my shin bones parallel to the ceiling. Lean back on the tailbone as much as you need, but really try to bring your thighs and your chest together as you squeeze the block, and think about your low abdominals hollowing and contracting. Okay? Now, as you squeeze the block, we're going to add in a little bit of rotation here, because why not? So I'm going to slowly take my arms over towards the right, and I'm going to twist that upper body. So the outside of the left elbow is on the outside of the right knee, but my hips did not change, just my spine. And then I'm going to slowly come on back. So I'm working from those deep obliques to create this rotation. So I'm going to go to the left, come on back. Squeeze the block, guys. Don't lose your hollow. To the right, and back. To the left, and back. Keep going. To the right, and back. To the left, and back. Let's do one more here. To the right, and back. To the left, and back. Great. Go ahead and relax. Now, don't worry if the low back started to, what I call, kind of feels like it blows up, where it just gets really tense and everything kind of goes there. Really normal. It will just tell you that it's just not a position where your low back is strong in right now or happy in right now. And hopefully that will get better with time through learning to connect through those low abdominals. So we're going to try another set again. And I want you to try to take the emphasis arms off of, scooping the butt underneath you, and think more about hollowing the low belly to that low back. Okay, let's try that again, and then we're going to move on to a nice little mobility cool down. So block in between inner thighs. If you felt like the block was too hard for you, take it away. But the reason I like it is when some people twist, they tend to take their legs with them. So the block kind of locks everything in place. So I'm going to do that again. Okay, pull my heels in. I'm going to create that hollow first. Then I pull in, then I lift, then I adjust my shin bones. Then I think taking that belly button to that low back spine, squeeze the block. Okay, now I'm going to go to the right and center. To the left, center. To the right, center. To the left, center. Think about the sides of your waist. To the right, center. To the left, center. To the right, and center. To the left and center. One more each. To the right. Don't lose the tension on the block. And center. And left. And center. Awesome. Go ahead and relax. Nice work, everybody. Okay. We're going to move on to just a little bit of a mobility-based cool down. So I'm going to go ahead and bring my feet to a butterfly position. Now, if a butterfly position, this is where your heels are in really tight towards your hips. If this is making your knees kind of pop up towards your shoulders and your spine round, you're going to go more to a diamond shape. So you're going to go more with a diamond shape through the legs, allowing yourself to be really tall. Now, depending on how much rotation you have in your hip joint, your knees may not open very much. Doesn't really matter. Okay, so whether you are diamond or butterfly, I want you to either grab your toes or grab your ankles, and I want you to find a nice lift through your chest. Good. Take a big inhale and a big exhale. Okay, now I'm just going to scooch forward just for a sec so you guys can see, or I can get a little bit more into my back leg. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop over to the right. So now my right butt cheek's on the floor and my right outer knee is on the floor and my left butt cheek is up. And I'm going to take that left leg and I'm going to swing it behind me. So I've got kind of like that 90 degree position. Okay. And then all I want to do from there is I'm going to fold forward. So whether I'm folding over the knee or over the shin bone, whatever feels best for you, I'm going to fold over and I'm going to make little tents and drop those tents to the floor and fold my thigh over that shin bone or over that thigh. And then I'm going to push myself up and I'm going to swing this left leg back through into butterfly. Don't worry, we're going to repeat this. We're going to do the first one really slow. So here I am, butterfly or diamond, lift the chest. Now I'm going to drop over to the left, swing the right leg back behind me, 90-90. Make my little tents and fold over. Good. Come on up. And then I'm going to come right back into my butterfly or diamond. Okay. I'm going to keep going here to the right, left leg behind. This time let's add the breath. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold over. Push on up. Diamond. Or butterfly. Good. Lift the chest over to the left. Swing the right leg behind me. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Let's do one more each side. Push yourself up. Bring yourself back to your diamond. Again, don't worry if your chest doesn't touch your thigh as you fold. Just think about creating a long spine as you fold over. So one more here to the right. Back behind left. Inhale, lift the chest, exhale, fold over that leg. Push on up, swing that left leg back through, come back to your butterfly or diamond, lift the chest. One more here, to the left, right leg behind you, inhale, lift the chest, exhale, fold over. Awesome. Go ahead and come on up. Come back to that butterfly or diamond one last time. Take a breath. Good. All right. Last little thing we're going to do here. So you're going to come back forward to hands and knees. So let's set up our hands first. But what I'm going to do with my legs is instead of having my knees under my hips, I'm going to walk my knees back. Let's get a little forward. I'm going to walk my knees back, and I'm going to bring my big toes together and my knees wide. So I've got that diamond or butterfly shape with my legs. Now I'm not collapsing through my low back or dumping through my hips. I'm pulling my hip creases and my belly up. Okay. Now what we're going to do is a little bit of gentle rocking here. So I'm going to proceed to shift my hips back towards my heels. So I have like a diamond shape with my legs, and I'm just going to let my torso drape. And I can drop my head. Then I'm going to start to shift back forward to where I was. Now I can sink a little bit through the hips, but I don't want dumping. You're just kind of sinking forward and down. Okay. So I'm going to do that with the breath. I feel a little opposite here. So I'm going to inhale, shift back. And don't worry if your forehead doesn't touch the floor, but I want you to try to keep your arm bones straight so your elbows are rebounding. And then I'm going to exhale, go ahead and shift forward. A little bit of a drop through the hips. Inhale, shift back. Good. Feels super good right now. Exhale, shift forward. 3 more. Inhale, shift back. Out, breath, shift forward. Last 2 here, everybody. Inhale, shift back. Out, breath, shift forward. 1 more. Inhale, shift back. Out, breath, shift forward. Now go ahead and uncurl your toes. Walk yourself straight back until your hips come towards your heels. Don't worry if they don't completely touch. And we're just going to hold a child's pose for a few breaths. Definitely really relieving for that low back. So I'm going to keep my arms nice and wide. And I'm going to walk my arms forward until I can feel again that rebound effort from the lower and upper arm bones. And my torso just drapes as I push my hips back and reach my fingertips forward. I'm going to drop my forehead. We're going to hang here maybe for about 30 seconds or so. And what I want you to really concentrate on doing here is finding your breathing and slow it down. So I'd like you to inhale through your nose and exhale through the nose. And maybe you want to exhale through the mouth because it feels more relaxing right now. That's fine. Keep thinking about pushing your hips back towards your heels. Okay. We want to move into more of a calm, relaxed state. So we can just allow our muscles to let go. Let's take 3 more breaths here. And when you're ready, just start to look forward, maybe shift yourself forward and come to a seat. All right, everybody. So there you go. There's your lower back durability class, relieving feelings of being stuck through the low back, moving the rib cage, getting the spine going, building those deep abdominal and spinal muscles. If you have any questions, feel free to pop them up in the comment section or shoot me an email at jen@freeruninc.com if you have any questions about anything that we did today. Otherwise, thank you so much for showing up. Definitely repeat this class on a regular basis, especially if you are feeling really jammed up or compressed through that low back spine. Thank you guys so much. Have a great Wednesday, and I will see you next time. Do I just click end stream? Bilal.